volunteer for Blood Source. You probably don't know what the organization is.
No.
But they are the people that go out and collect blood to be processed and distributed to 43 major hospitals in 25 counties, Northern California counties. And they make it possible for people to have blood on hand if they are going to have a surgery, or there's blood available if they have some kind of a serious bleed or trauma, or for people that have leukemia and lymphoma, basically keep them alive until they can find a therapy for them that works. Cool. And also volunteer for Seventh-day Adventist, local here in town in Auburn. They've got a community service and outreach program for poor and homeless people, so I'm kind of involved with that one a couple of days a week. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. And if you want to get into more specifics, I could probably tell you a little bit more about what that entails.
No, that's probably good. And why do you do it?
I think early on, when I was a young man, I joined the Navy and I got attached to the Marine Corps. I was in the medical end of things. And when I went to different places in the world where you see a lot of the poverty and a lot of the countries that I went to, and I'm going to now, Team for Living Water for our church, and we go to Central America and drill water wells for people. Clean water is probably the most precious thing you can give people that don't have it, because the water that majority of people down there have, their surface wells are all badly contaminated with bacteria and parasites, and the water that we're giving him is essentially clean and free of all that, and supposedly their health improves. In the villages that we leave the wells, the health in that general area improves almost 100% within about a 2-week period. So it's anyway, when you get involved with those kinds of activities, and you begin to understand the difference that you're making in people's lives and how you're helping change their lives and hopefully and part of that process is being particularly with the Southern Baptist organization is being out there and being the hands and feet and the eyes of Christ, trying to get out into the communities and bring Christ to people who don't know him. So that's kind of why I'm involved, at least at that level.
Okay. What inspired you to do this, which I guess you already answered?
I'm doing all of these activities on a continuous basis, on a week by week. I'm probably dedicating 3 to 4 days a week for communities.
What do you get from doing this?
Get out of it is a very simple statement. When you volunteer and you make the effort to help people, you get 10 times more out of it than you would the effort that you actually put into whatever it is that you're involved in.
Yeah.
And when I talk to people, and I talk to people a lot about volunteering, particularly people like myself who are retired, and trying to make a useful dedication of the time that you have available. I try and encourage them to get involved with something that they have a passion for. Everybody's got a passion for something. And whatever they have a passion for, they can use it effectively to help somebody that's got a very serious need. And that's the kind of a message that I carry to people, wherever I go and whatever I'm doing.
Okay. And if you could thank anyone right now, who? If you could thank anyone for any reason. For getting you
here. If I could thank you?
Yep.
Well, let me do this. There are people that I personally idolize for their dedication, and these are people that I would like to be like. And there's another guy, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's kind of getting a little emotional.
It's fine.
There is another guy. The guy's name is Tim, and he's amazing. Tim, he looks for opportunities to help people, and it doesn't matter where he is or what he's doing. If you see somebody that needs help of any kind, he will stop and he will make the effort to help them and get them on their way, and he doesn't ask for anything in return. He's just there.
Wow.
And a good example of that, he was on our LWI team a couple of years ago. We were in Honduras, and on our last day there, we overnighted in a hotel that was close to the airport, and Tim and I went over to a shopping center. And for people who live in poor countries, this is kind of a place to go. It's just a community meeting place. It's like the Zocolos or the park areas in front of the large Catholic churches. Basically the same thing. This big, large shopping centers, just a place for people to go and have fun, for the kids to have activities and stuff like that. Practically nobody shops because nobody has any money, but so Tim and I were at the top of an escalator, and a lot of these people had never seen these places before. They take a bus there, and they're just awed by the experience. Anyway, there were two old ladies, really old, they were probably in their 90s, at the top of an escalator, and when it took there were 2 or 3 people in front of us. And when they got to the front of the line, they were terrified. They had never been on an escalator before, didn't know what to do or how to get on it safely. And Tim just stepped out of line. He went up, couldn't speak the language, and he just encouraged one of the ladies to step forward. He was going to be there to help her. And this is kind of a cool story because it encourages people when they see the example to kind of step out. Same thing. And so he was able to talk her onto the escalator to go down, and that was going to follow his example. But before I could, one of the other men, and this is something men down there just really don't do, he stepped out and helped the other old lady. That may not sound like a lot, but I think that's the kind of living example that I would like to be like. And there's another guy that he's an elder at the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and he is basically sacrificing his business and everything that he has so that he can be closer to the church and he could be more available because he really has a heart for Christ, and he just wants to serve. And he's sacrificing everything that he has so that he can be there, he and his wife. So those are kind of examples of people that I look up to, and I wish that I could be like. But like everything else, when you talk to people, we all have shortcomings. We all have things we're afraid of. We all have things that kind of put themselves in front of us as barriers that keep us from doing stuff. And that, I believe, is Satan. He's just trying to slow us down. Yeah. And so what we have to do is just kind of put our faith out there and just let it roll, and see where it takes us.